Shrek 5 has come out with a trailer. Let's just get right into it. The first major reveal is further away. So, like Shrek 2 introduced far away, which was like, like the like kingdom place. I guess Shrek 5 is taking that a step further with further away. How do I feel about that? Like, cause it almost seems it's definitely less funny than far away. Cause like the joke of far away is that in fairy tales, they say far away a lot. Like they say like this happened far away. Like it's almost a historical thing that like when people would tell fairy tales back in like olden times, they would say, oh yeah, this happened far away, to like kind of be like it was a way of legitimizing the story or acting like the story was real, but it just happened somewhere distant. So far away is almost a play on that. And then at the same time, it expands the world itself. Like calling it far away means that Shrek is going far away from where he is used to being. Kind of is more of a thing that's relevant in the second movie. Like far away is, I mean, Shrek the Third is kind of trash. So like, but like far away, like Shrek the Third, that's like the whole conflict is who's going to be the king of far away. I guess far away is a thing in Shrek 4. It's not as specific to the conflict far away in Shrek 4. So it's kind of putting that forward of further away. I mean, there's pros and cons like to the existence of a further away. Like for one, it immediately communicates to us that this is a location that is elevated above far away, that there's a further away. Like it's, kind of the same thing that far away accomplishes in Shrek 2 at communicating to us that Shrek is going far away from his home. This is now we're going further away from far away. Like I could see that. I could kind of get behind it. I think it could possibly fall into that trap of like taking a concept and just kind of like milking it further, and that happens a lot in like long running franchises where you get it like it's like, okay, like we get it, like yeah, it was far away, now it's further away. I think within reason. I guess it just depends on how much the movie sells me on the location, in general. Like and that's kind of the thing about a trailer, is that you can't really make proper judgments even about things that one could have judgments about, because you're not seeing it in the context of the full film.
I need a makeover. Get my arms yoked and my back checked.
It's definitely very kids movie-ish. The like donkey lines there. I'm gonna get my like abs, whatever. I don't know. Doesn't really do it for me. And also like for a trailer, like I mean, I guess you don't necessarily have to put the funniest jokes in the trailer. I'm trying to think like, are there things in like Shrek 1 and 2 where Donkey says kind of equally silly things, It probably wouldn't stand out to me as much as like a line in the movie. It does seem like, I mean, I guess the choice to use it in the trailer would be because it's like establishing they're going on a journey. So he's saying, oh, I have to get all my abs yoked or whatever, on a journey and all that sort of thing. So like I can kind of see the reasoning for the decision, but it's like it's not the funniest joke to like put at the very beginning. And also like I need a makeover. Clearly that's a self-awareness of people like complaining about the like looks of the characters. We'll get into that. Don't worry. Okay, so we get some kind of witch's broom here. So that's like a witch hat. I'm trying to see like what this is. Is that the daughter? The hair? I kind of can't tell. There's something with like some witch. Something with some witch, like if that's the villain, if that's the this. It doesn't really have a villain reveal.
Oh, I'm caked up like a friggin' bakery.
I think people were mad about this. I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't care. This kind of stuff doesn't bother me. Is that regressing development for Shrek? That he's going like no to Donkey? Did he ever change on that? It's been a while since I've seen the movies, since I've seen all 4 of them. I guess he's never really been like down for like adventure. Like I think his arc is more about accepting Donkey as his friend and accepting like people in his life, but I think Shrek has been pretty consistently a dude who like doesn't want to like go on the journey. Like he does still like love like his swamp and all that. So like I think that's still consistent with Shrek as a character. It definitely does bring to mind like the vibes of like the first movie. Like I think in putting that in the trailer or just in putting that in the movie, they're trying to get the vibe of like the first movie where Shrek is like, "Ah, donkey, stop following me, donkey," and like you kind of can't have that anymore after Shrek 1, because that's the arc in Shrek 1, because at the end of Shrek 1, Shrek and Donkey are best friends. So Donkey doesn't really annoy Shrek that much in later movies. Really, Donkey's like much less of a character in 2, 3, and 4. I've always felt like he's just more, especially with Puss in Boots, that you kind of have Puss in Boots and him and Donkey become kind of like a duo. Whereas in Shrek 1, the relationship between Shrek and Donkey is like the heart of the movie, as much because it's really the two of that, like Donkey and Fiona are like the two people who like are Shrek's arc, is that it's finding a best friend and a romance. And I think that's something that Shrek 1 does so well, is that it has the element of him embracing friendship as well as romance, whereas a lesser film would have only focused on the romance plot rather than that he also has to accept having a friend. So that's kind of like the whole point of Donkey. But it makes him hard to use later on, because in later movies they're just already friends. So like what's the conflict there, you know? So like they always like find like a thing for Donkey to do. Like in Shrek 2, oh, he turns into the stallion, you know. In Shrek 3, he switches places with Puss in Boots. What does he do in Shrek 4? I think it's Shrek 4 because there's the memory loss thing. There's a bit more to Donkey because like he doesn't remember him. I don't remember what Donkey does in Shrek 4. That's funny. I've seen Shrek 4 the least out of all of them. It's not a huge indication of what Donkey does in the movie. Like it could very clearly be from this stuff that it's like Donkey's just is like what he is in Shrek 2, 3, like where he's just like he's there, you know, like he has like a couple things, but he's not like core to the plot like Shrek 1. And in some ways that's fine. Like, you know, like Shrek 2 is still a great movie. It's just not focused on Donkey. The conflict of Shrek 2 is just more about Shrek and Fiona and the fairy godmother and Prince Charming and all that. Like that just kind of overtakes the spotlight, and Donkey's just kind of like, you know, he's got some comic relief moments and he does some stuff because he's just in the group. So like they show him being scared here. So it's like he was all excited about the adventure. So this like further away is like a more rundown, you know, like because Far Away was, you know, the introduction to Far Away in Shrek 2 is like the Funky Town montage. It's not so much that they were afraid of it. It was actually that Far Away to Shrek was scary because it was so normal. Because it's the joke of Far Away is that it's like, you know, it's like medieval castles and stuff, but it also just looks like LA, you know, like that's kind of the whole that's kind of Shrek's whole bit. Shrek was afraid of Far Away because he's an ogre and he thinks he's not going to be accepted by the real world. So further away, because now Shrek has been accepted into the real world, you know, you have Do the Roar and all that, like just like you know, the whole like ogre thing, you know, there's just a lot less ogre racism, at least in Far Away. Further Away is just like a more rundown place. It's definitely a bit more straightforward, you know, like what I just described about how Far Away is something that Shrek is afraid of, and that's meaningful because Far Away is a normal place, and it being scary to Shrek is based off of Shrek as a character. Whereas Further Away being this like rundown place that's all dark and like boarded up windows and all that sort of stuff. Further Away being like that is just something that is scary in general. It would be scary to anyone, whereas Far Away is specifically scary to Shrek. You lose a bit of meaning there. Now that doesn't mean that the movie won't tackle that well, or that it's not using that for a different purpose, that its themes maybe lie elsewhere, but that is something to consider.
Wanna date a snowman?
So okay, so like what is that? Like that's actually the more adult joke, right? Wouldn't that be a more adult joke than why were people more mad about the Gingy thing? Because the Gingy thing is a butt joke. And butt jokes have been very consistently in kids' movie. We have, as a society, at least as a majority, accepted that butt jokes are just a part of kids movies, and people are fine. I mean, obviously this would go over any kid's head, so like I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not a big pro clutcher about jokes. I also think it's funny because it's supposed to be Olaf, from Frozen, which, like, Frozen didn't exist in Shrek 1. So it's Shrek 5. I mean, wait, did Frozen not exist when Shrek 4 came out? So Frozen came out 3 years after Shrek 4. So this is actually the first Shrek movie that could have made fun of Frozen. That's actually really funny. So it's like, it's almost a dated reference because, I mean, I guess it's silly to call it a dated reference. Like, Frozen is just a fairy tale now, like a well-known, I mean, I guess the Snow Queen always like existed, but like because of Disney, it's like now a well-known cultural fairy tale, the whole Frozen thing. So, I mean, I guess that's no different than like Shrek 1 references like Pinocchio. Pinocchio was like a movie in the 60s. So like it's less of a dated reference than Pinocchio was in the first Shrek. It's just using a fairy tale that didn't, or a fairy tale that wasn't a Disney movie back then. And it's a jab at Disney by having this adult joke of wanna date a snowman. They're using a Olaf parody, a Disney mascot. That's a jab at Disney, and that's why we love Shrek, because it jabs at Disney. So yeah, I think that's a solid joke. I think that works. Want to date a snowman.
You really can't help yourself, can you?
Hell to the no, I can't.
That was a weird placement of that, where he says you really can't help yourself, because didn't it show the order's a little odd. Look at the order. So it's like you have this shot where he says, "You really can't help yourself, donkey," and it's like, and then there's here, and then, so it's like, look at so it's like Donkey's excited about the journey. They're on the journey. Donkey's scared, and then it cuts back to what I presume is an earlier scene in the movie, and he says, "You really can't help yourself, donkey."
Oh, can you?
Hell to the no, I can't.
And he says, "Hell to the no, I can't." And that's another Shrek thing, is like donkey, like they'll say things that a 10-year-old would think is a swear word, like hell or what they call donkey an ass because he's a donkey. It's Shrek, guys. Like that's like a Shrek thing. But it's a very typical two characters of opposing personalities having a moment together, where they're like, you're the excited one and I'm the fuddy-duddy. And it's like, we've seen it a million times. I don't know if like that's like the thing that you needed to put in the trailer, like really get people's attention. In 1 year, so far out. When does it actually come out? Is it 1 year? Like, is it summer of 2027? It was originally going to be Christmas of this year, and it got delayed. So is it like a summer movie now, or is it Christmas 2027? It says in 1 year, so that makes it seem like it doesn't say in 1 year, in a year and a half or something. Yeah, that's crazy. It feels like a lifetime ago that first thing dropped, because that was over a year ago. The one where everyone was mad about the art style. It was a year ago. And now it's been a year, and they're doing a trailer for a movie that's a year from now. That's a long process. To the right, like, because I know like Toy Story 5 is coming out soon. Like, were we talking about Toy Story 5 2 years ago? Maybe it said like Toy Story 5 is coming. I don't know. Shrek's weird like that. A lot of people have strong feelings about Shrek, so maybe they're just understanding the marketing of it in that way. We got this witch again. Okay, so this witch is something. It's meant for you to not know what it is, I'm sure. Oh, wait. No, I'm so wrong. No, never mind. It's not meant for you to not know what it is, because it shows you right here. It is the daughter. Okay, so the hair is the daughter, and there's some witch. So it was the daughter is with the witch. So whoever the witch is. Oh, man. Is it the plot that people think it is? Because I went against that. When people thought that the plot of Shrek 5, everyone was like saying, like, when Shrek 5 when the Shrek 5 trailer came out a year ago, they were all saying, oh, the plot's going to be the daughter is like, you can't tell me what to do, Dad. I'm my own person, and like leaves. And like, and then at the end, Shrek is like, "Oh, I accept you," you know, like it's just the like typical like, you know, whatever plot of that. And this is kind of an indication that that might be the case. I give it the benefit of the doubt that I don't think it's going to be that typical. And if it is that typical, I think it would have some kind of subversion. I mean, it's Shrek. Like Shrek subverts those sorts of things. That's like the whole thing. But yeah, so we could see that there's some kind of witch who take, and she's like happy. She's not like being kidnapped. See, she's waving. So it's like, so yeah, like I can see why people would think even more now. Oh, it's gonna be that the daughter is going away and Shrek has to like go find her or whatever. It gets tricked by a witch, you know, it's like like the witch is evil and is like actually trying to take advantage of her, maybe because she's like royal lineage with the Fiona. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I mean, like, but that is an indication of that. See, that's kind of a clever visual. The like patty cake of the cops. Like that's another like blending contemporary and old timey looks. Yeah, so they're in jail, and it's the sons, and the daughter's not there. So it's like, yeah, I think that's the plot, guys. I think that's the plot. I think at this point it's damage control. I think at this point it's just damage control. It's all right. They're definitely doing the whole I'm my own person dad plot. They're definitely doing that. I mean, like it's pretty clear that's what's going for. At that point, it's just all right. Can they do that cliche well? So that's about it. Oh, it is summer 2027, so it is next year, literally in 1 year. Yeah. So, were people mad about this? I don't really know. I don't really have my. I haven't really been looking that much. You know, unlike a lot of trailers that like show you like everything, like the whole plot. Like it didn't show you like the whole plot. Like you could kind of piece together the whole daughter thing from like the little clues, but like it didn't show you the villain. It didn't show you like everything. You know, it just was kind of what a trailer's supposed to be. Like so many trailers will like give away like everything, and it doesn't. And there's a lot of things that you can't properly judge just based off of a trailer. Like, for example, like, even though I can kind of tell that the plot is going to be the daughter goes away somewhere and Shrek and Donkey and Fiona go to like find her, you know, I can't necessarily say that it's not going to be done well because I haven't seen the movie yet. You can get a little bit of like, I definitely think that the thing that I'm the most concerned about is humor. I would say that like, and like, again, like, you know, like these like animated movies, I think sometimes we overestimate how funny they were when we were kids, because them being funny, while that's like the thing that we remember the most as kids, because it's like the thing that sticks out, like Shrek, like being funny, like we, you know, like it's a funny movie for sure. These like animated kids films, they are more so about the story and like the, you know, I mean, they're movies, they're films, you know, like, and they're not like strictly comedy films. They have comedy elements to them, but it is a lot of like, you know, like the donkey thing, even the Gingy thing. Like, I'm not offended by the Gingy thing, but it is like a typical, like, oh, let's just do a regular butt joke. Like, let's just do a butt joke, you know, like it's what, and Shrek 1 had butt jokes. Like, it's not like it didn't, you know, like, I think what it is like these like moments that are a little like kind of, you know, that just happened kind of moments. Like, you know, those will be there, obviously, as we can see here, but like how much of that is going to be diluted within stronger jokes and deeper character moments, like, you know, like when you look at it at a trailer, and like, again, like if they had way funnier jokes than a sheep saying this is bad, which, like, come on, if they had funnier jokes than that, I feel like they would have put them in the trailer. But I don't know, maybe the funniest jokes in the movie like give away the plot too much, and maybe that's why. I'm giving it a really big benefit of the doubt there. So I've seen a lot of people saying that the reason that Shrek looks different is because he's supposed to be older. It's like an age thing. It's not just that. Like, he is supposed to look older. You can tell that he has a few more wrinkles. He is fatter, and I think that is a age thing, like the but no, the art style is different. I think it's just because it's been 16 years since the last one. I think that it's just animation just looks different now. And I don't know if it's like particularly better or worse, you know, because it's always been animation. It's not a different medium. It's not like how when you watch like a movie from like an action movie from the 80s and you see all of the practical effects that they used and you kind of lament the like CGI fest action movies that we have today. Like, it's not really the same as that because this is as much of an animated movie as Shrek Forever After was, as Shrek 2001 was. There is kind of a thing. I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm working on a Toy Story video when Toy Story 5 comes out. And I've watched 1 through 3 as of the time I'm recording this. I got to watch 4 and I'm going to see 5 next week to do a video on it. And like, the early Toy Stories, specifically 1 and 2, way more so 1, were so limited by how difficult it was to animate those movies that it affected the story. The story had to exist within limitations of how much they were or were not able to animate. In fact, like the reason that Toy Story is even toys is because animating people would have been too uncanny. But since like Woody is a toy and he already looks kind of uncanny and the story has already established that he's a toy, we buy that he looks the way that he looks. I think that was a part of the consideration. I don't quote me on that. I don't fully know, but like that feels like a thing. Like how like Andy and Sid and the mother look so weird in Toy Story 1, and they try so hard to not really show them that much. It's like a limitation. And then Toy Story 2 is a little bit, you get a little bit more in Toy Story 2. Like there's more action sequences, more stuff in it, but there definitely is still a limitation in Toy Story 2, and it made the story a lot more intimate. And this also applies to Shrek 1. Shrek 1 is a very like intimate setting. Like the entire movie takes place within, there's the swamp, and then he like walks to the castle, and he literally walks for like 2 days or something. Like it's not even that far of a journey. And then Shrek 2 far, far away is like kind of why it's far, far away. So nowadays those limitations, they factually just do not exist anymore. And that's not really the fault of filmmakers. Like, what, should we just stop making movies because it's not hard anymore? Like, it's, you know, it's weird. It's weird because like we do miss that there was a limitation. And I think the reason it's important to discuss that movies like Shrek 1, like Toy Story 1 had limitations, or Jaws. I think Jaws is a great example too. It's not an animated film, but it's Jaws. You know, the reason that Jaws is as suspenseful as it is because their shark animatronic broke, so they had to film around it, and that limitation actually ended up making the movie better than it would have been if they like kept showing it. I think in a world where these limitations no longer exist because of technological advancements, there is a value in learning why those technological restrictions made stories better, and maybe try to tell stories in that way without like on purpose, you know, like restricting yourself. Cause like you can do like anything with animation now. Like you are so not limited, you know, there's so much you can do. And they just made the models different. And I think it has to do with facial expressions. I think it has to do with fluidity. Like there are reasons behind the scenes why the models look different. But what I need to see that I'm not seeing, and I'm not a big like art guy, so I don't fully know everything about art direction. I'm more of a story critiquer. So I would love someone to actually like maybe say something about like what is actually wrong with what Shrek looks like that isn't just it's different from what he looked like before. Because there could be a lot of reasons for why he looks a certain way. Or if the problem is that he looks different from before, Why is that a problem? Because maybe I could probably accept an argument for that. Like, why is it a problem that Shrek looks different from Shrek 4 to Shrek 5? Is there something wrong with that? So, yeah, that's what we know so far about Shrek 5. Definitely be covering it when it comes out next year. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it.